The Trumpet Daily Update from Jerusalem.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Trumpet Daily YouTube channel. Today we have something a little more substantive to show you than the short updates that we've been running over the last 2 weeks. The other day we were able to have a lengthy 25-minute interview with Dr. Mazar down at the royal structure there within those walls and around some jars that have been remade or replicas of the ones that are in museums. It was a great interview. It went on for about 25 minutes, and I think the entirety of it will probably make for a good full-length Trumpet Daily episode later on this summer or early fall. But what we'd like to do for you is to just take 8 or 10 minutes of that interview and post it as a preview on the YouTube channel. So I'm introducing that for you right here, and right now we'll just cut away to a brief excerpt of our interview with Dr. Mazar here at the site 2 nights ago. All right, we're here today at the Jerusalem Archaeological Park, just south of the Temple Mount, where the Temple Mount excavations took place beginning in 1968, I believe it was. We're here today with Dr. Eilat Mazar, who's just finished a significant project here in the royal structure, as she calls it. And to begin with, Dr. Mazar, if you could explain, just summarize some of the history of all of the excavations that have taken place here at the Temple Mount, beginning with your grandfather, Benjamin Mazar, back in 1968.
Well, it's a long story, as you said, starting in 1967, when the excavation started at the foot of the Temple Mount enclosure walls, and revealing of very large, interesting complexes, constructions, from all periods of Jerusalem, and concentrating in following history backwards. And only in the very last years of their excavations, which lasted 10 years, they came at the very edge of the excavations area, and finally they found remains from first temple period. That was 3,000 years of history of Jerusalem. And very luckily, the remains here are so nicely preserved, as you can see around us, which is sometimes 5 to 6 meter height of preservation. And the reason is that in this area, the bedrock, the natural bedrock of the hill is very steep, falling down towards the Kidron Valley. And therefore, the preservation is so good, and they had the chance to reveal at the time of their excavations already remains from that period, the destruction of Jerusalem at 586 BCE. The pottery crushed in an immense fire of the destruction. This was the last year of their excavations, so they didn't had enough at that time after so many years of excavations. So
that was in 1978?
78,
okay.
Concluding the excavations then.
So your grandfather worked in this area for 10 years, and this, we should also point out, was where the ambassadors helped him for those 10 years every summer.
The ambassadors worked all over, and the contributions of the ambassadors in the Temple Mount excavations is unbelievable. So, we're coming every summer, sometimes for 2 months, and working. There were dozens of students coming to the excavations. This was a most wonderful, fantastic relationship and getting together and reveal ancient Jerusalem. And
how would you just as an aside, how would you characterize your grandfather's relationship with Herbert Armstrong's?
This was a wonderful friendship. They became, at the beginning, they got to know each other, and Mr. Armstrong at the time showed that he wanted to be involved and to contribute, but they became best friends. They were walking around the excavations, hugged together. This was unbelievable. And my grandfather was waiting for Mr. Armstrong's visit. And it became a very strong, unbelievable, fantastic friendship. I think that we are making a best effort, best use out of this friendship, because they kind of led us into it.
Yeah.
So it continues.
They
established something that continues. Really.
So you started digging when you were 11 years old, along with your grandfather, and that's how you came to get to know some of the ambassadors as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
I was a child, and it was like people coming from outworld, out of Jerusalem.
Intriguing.
This was fantastic, speaking English and all kinds of languages, and they were so nice even today. That didn't change, and we were intrigued by their kindness, by their enthusiasm, by their willingness. And we knew so many until today. We knew so many of the ambassadors, and we remember names and kept contacts. This was wonderful.
Yeah.
So it was like one big family excavating Jerusalem.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so back to 1978. Your grandfather's just finishing up. He's gone 10 years. And then where did it go from there that led up to your other dig?
True, right. There was a period, a short period of, after the excavations, that almost nothing was done. And, but then we renewed the excavations at 1986, realizing that this area that was touched at the latest of the excavations is really great, has a great potential. And the first temple period is here to be revealed. So we got the sense from their excavations, you know, the previous excavations, but we felt that we must complete. Like this area, we saw the upper parts of the walls, but we didn't see the floor layers.
Right.
And on top layers, usually you've got the finds.
Right.
So it was just a suggestion that I came forward to my grandfather. I didn't believe that he will agree. After so many years excavating, like reopened excavation again, but then he was a great listener, a very wise man, and he said, we'll do it. So he decided to go back. So we did it together. And
you were old enough to get credentials, so he co-signed with you, so to speak.
Yes, I was old enough to get credentials, but never. I mean, they wouldn't let me excavate by myself at that time. I was young. I mean, when you reach your 60, you're still young in Jerusalem archaeology. It's very hard. I mean, you earn your credits. It takes so many years.
So did he mainly get you through the door, or did he actually get out here and dig some too?
I mean, combining our forces was the major. This was. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do it.
And then what did you discover then, all totaled? How much did you dig in 1986? Just a few months?
Few weeks.
Few weeks.
Few weeks in 1986, few weeks in 1987. We didn't have any money, just, you know, asking. This was Dr. Hecht, that he led us some, a few thousands. And we did immense work getting it out of almost no fund. The thing is that after a week of excavations, we start to pick up, pottery and discovering this destruction layer, really getting our hands black from the fire of the destruction. Of
the Babylonian.
Oh yeah. So it was obvious that we are having this original level of the first temple period.
There's one place in your book, I think you said that in that first week, you basically went over to one of the areas, dug down maybe a couple inches, and already you could see the blackened, burned out remains.
True, but you have to really imagine, like, I felt that this is the right thing, but I could have been wrong. And to get everything done and, the excavations reopened and being wrong, it's not that fun, you see. So I was very curious to see if I was right. So I took a trench, a small trial trench, and just like this, we could see that we are talking about the real thing. This was a big relief, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so further, later on, we found all these crushed pitoi, the largest vessels ever found in Jerusalem, crushed on the original floor layer of this structure.
How many?
And 12 altogether.
12 together.
7 and 5.
And so you had to reconstruct all 12 of them, put them back together.
Yeah, and these are so large. And it's really fantastic vessels. Look how high they are. And at the same time, they have a very small opening. So there is no question that they stored here something. But the question is what? Water? I don't think so. Probably some precious liquid of some sort. I don't know what. Maybe not liquid. But at the same time, how they think about, pulling out whatever it was there. And at the very bottom, this is still an enigma. It's not like we found something, that they could use. But such a small, I don't know, I have no answer for this.
You didn't find any big straws?
No, maybe it was made out of wood. So we didn't find, it was not preserved. The thing is that on one of them, there is, incision of a palm tree. So I don't know, it's kind of wine, I don't know what it can be.
And then there's one that has an inscription on it, and tell us about that.
Yeah, one of the pitoi, the large vessels, had a Hebrew inscription on it, saying can be clearly read in Hebrew, in ancient Hebrew, which is very easy because it has only 22 letters, very easily read. It says in Hebrew, Lesar ha'o, meaning to the minister, belong to the minister of O. O, it means probably Ofim. Ofim in Hebrew, it's bakery.
Okay.
And we know from the story of Joseph that bakery is not just baking a bread. It's a whole.
It was a big job.
Oh yeah, getting oil and getting
Yep.
flour and getting everything. And this is for the palace complex and palace. It's a huge thing.
Yep.
To be responsible for the bakery of the royalty. Wow. So most probably this was the storehouse at the basement of one of the ministers responsible for this in this royal Acropolis, Jerusalem, near the gatehouse.
Right. So these are all replicas.
Oh yeah.
And the originals are in the Bible Lands Museum, you said, in
They're
Jerusalem?
kept in the museum, in the Israel Antiquities Authority storehouses, and they are presented in exhibitions, and very pretty soon one of them will be at your exhibition, right?
That's right. Tell us which one is coming over to Armstrong Auditorium for our exhibition.
Yeah, the exhibition is going to be, they're very significant, very important, because we picked up very beautiful items, most indicative and important ones from their original places.
Right.
And you're going to see one of them. It's one of the 12 and one of the nicest.
One of the nicest is coming to Edmond. We're going to have
It's
it there for probably 4 or 5 months this next concert season. All the concert goers in Edmond that'll be coming in for the foundation events will be able to peruse all of the artifacts that we've brought over. Not just one of these jars, but also a number of other things. There's all kinds of pieces that your assistant has compiled and pulled together. We're shipping them over to Edmond, and they're going to be on display in Edmond, Oklahoma. So that's very exciting for us. We're very
also for us, we are very excited because this is one of the things that we want to share our enthusiasm and results. And I'm very happy about this exhibition. I think it's important, and therefore we picked very significant items from the excavations.
All right then, we thank you for joining us on the Trumpet Daily Preview. As I said at the start, we'll have the full interview with Dr. Mazar later on in the new television season coming up, so make sure that you look out for that coming up this season, this new season coming up on thetrumpetdaily.com. And if you miss it, if you happen to miss it on TV, of course it'll be posted at the Trumpet Daily website as well. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again next time.